One, two, one, two. Aloha there. It seems like everything is right now. Yeah, I figure I'd just go along with this. Alrighty. So, reading this article a while back, I pretty much remember when it came to living Blackbeard. It's like there's a lot to learn. And going through all this makes me wonder what else should I continue on with. So yeah, there's further reading external links. There is nothing when it comes to other people to follow. No other pirates, no other events. And yeah. What is surprising though is the fact that there's a whole bibliography and stuff. I figured that they wanted to actually make sure that at least there's a lot of credited sources, credited enough sources that talks about it. So I could go along with talking more about Blackbeard, try to find some more links about the Pirate Age in the Caribbean stuff. Let's see where I could leave off to. For Blackbeard, I've already gone through here. Launchman of Thatches, Blockage of Charles, Crown Town, okay, Belovedham Pardon. I haven't gone through all this. No, there's also the Legacy part. I could go through here along with the modern era. So, judging the time, I figured I'd just go through this time here. Blockade of Charlestown and Launchman of Tags Fleet and Blackbeard. So I already gone through Blackbeard some bit. Enlargement of Thatch's fleet. Well, it follows with him actually being the predecessor of one other pirate who later on, when he actually was the big honcho in his own pirate ship, he actually got the Queen's End's revenge from the French. And then he started bolstering his forces. So, should I go through here? The middle of here? Let me actually read through this paragraph onwards. Alright. I'll figure out his might as well follow here. It talks more about his growth popularity, which boils to, the blockage of Charlestown. So, let's start here. By May 1718, Thatch has awarded himself the rank of Commodore and was at the height of his power. Late that month, his flotilla blockaded the port of Charlestown in the province of South Carolina. All vessels entering or leaving the port was stopped, and as the town had no guard ship, its pilot boat was the first to be captured. Over the next 5 or 6 days, about 9 vessels were stopped and ransacked as they attempted to sail past Charlestown Bar, where Thatch's fleet was anchored. One such ship headed for London with a group of prominent Charlestown citizens, which included Samuel Bragg, a member of the Council of the Province of Carolina, was the Crowley. Her passengers were questioned about the vessel still in port and then locked below decks for about half a day. Alright, so I'm actually imagining about how the strategy goes. I figured that the fact that if he set a blockade and had anybody just crossing through just because of how slow boats, not just during that time trying to wave away, but actually starting up onwards from a beachhead to a harbor to the open ocean, it gives definitely a lot of time for pirates just to board ships that try to block the blockade, unless it's at night. But I guess that even the pirates try to figure out that. One trick on that people have done, I'm not sure if it exactly is pirates per se, But let's say when it comes to other Navy people during naval battles in this time period, especially onwards when it gets into the Napoleonic era events, they would pretty much put an eye patch on one hand to make sure that they could see very clearly. The idea has to go with people pretty much able to see clearly on the deck of bottom decks of hulls that are just pitch black, where you could actually see through the darkness with much ease rather than an eye that is exposed to light, because there's an adjustment period that takes a while. One practical reason why people actually wore eye patches, especially if you are very flexible as a raiding party like pirates. I guess that they could easily see some boats trying to cross the blockade during the middle of the night when everybody's pitch dark. Could be something. So, Hatch informed the prisoners that his fleet required medical supplies from the colonial government of South Carolina, and that if none were forthcoming, all prisoners would be executed, their heads sent to the governor, and all captured ships burned. Rag agreed to Thatch's demands, and Mr. Marks and two pirates were given 2 days to collect the drugs. Thatch moved his fleet and captured the ships to within about 5 or 6 leagues from land. 3 days later, a messenger sent by Marks returned to the fleet. Marks' boat had capsized, and delayed their arrival in Charlestown. Thatch was granted a reprieve of 2 days, but still the party did not return. He then called a meeting of his fellow sailors and moved 8 ships into the harbor, causing panic within the town. When Marks finally returned to the fleet, he explained what had happened. On this arrival, he had presented the pirates' demands to the governor, and the drugs had been quickly gathered. But the 2 pirates sent to escort him have proved difficult to find. They have been busy drinking with friends and were finally discovered drunk. Thatch kept to his side of the bargain and released the captured ships and his prisoners, albeit relieved of their valuables, including the fine clothes some had worn. Valuables? Yeah, this is valuables. The fine clothes that are worn, including jewelry and such. Unless they stripped them down naked. But, yeah, I mean, even when it comes to how explicit they are when it comes to their tactics, it seems like some things are things they haven't done before. I gotta explain more. Yeah, I'll definitely explain more if it comes to be like when it comes to pirates' tactics and such. Before Inlet. Whilst at Charlestown, Thatch learned that Woodes Rogers had left England with several men of war, referring to ships. Let's see. Yeah, the man of war was a Royal Navy expression for a powerful warship or frigate from the 16th to the 19th century. That was the Queen Anne's Revenge. It was a French man of war that he repurposed and called it a lady. Funny when you start thinking about it, but I guess that even pirates back then had a good sense of humor that we could enjoy nowadays. With orders to purge the West Indies of pirates, Thatch's flotilla sailed northward along the Atlantic coast and into Topsail Inlet, commonly known as Beaufort Inlet. Off the coast of North Carolina, they intended to careen their ships to scrape their hulls, but on 10th June 1718, the Queen Anne's Revenge ran aground on a sandbar, crackling her main mast and severely damaging many of her timbers. Thatch ordered several sloops to throw ropes across the flagship in an attempt to free her. A sloop commanded by Israeli Hands of Adventure also ran aground, and both vessels appeared to be damaged beyond repair, leaving only Revenge and the captured Spanish sloop. Alrighty. Pardon. Thatch had some stage learnt of the offer of a royal pattern and probably confided in Bonnet his willingness to accept it. The pardon was open to all pirates who surrendered on or before 5th September 1718, but contained a caveat splintering. Oh, what is that? Stipulating that immunity was offered only against crimes committed before 5th January. Although the theory this left Bonnet and Thatch at risk of being hanged for their actions at Charlestown Bar, most authorities could waive such conditions. Thatch thought the governor Charles Eden was a man he could trust, but to make sure he waited to see what would happen to another captain. Bonnet left immediately on a small sailing boat for Bath Town, where he surrendered to Governor Eden and received his pardon. He then traveled back to Bedford Inlet to collect the Revenge and the remainder of his crew, intending to sail to St. Thomas Island to receive a commission. Unfortunately for him, that has stripped the vessel of its valuables, and provisions, and had marooned its crew. Yeah, looks like it's already time for me. Well, at least I know where I left off. And yeah, it's been nice to collect it, but seems like the timing is always the case I gotta follow. But anyhow, next time, aloha.